Hi, my name is Michelle Cornish. I have been being stalked by the Hawaiian syndicate for the last 10 years and their affiliates. It began in 2008 at 255 Ku'upua Street in Kailua, Hawaii. I was overheard in my backyard making disparaging remarks about Native Hawaiians and speaking about the murders of Dana Ireland and the murder and disappearance of other people in Hawaii. A Hawaiian man living at 236 Ku'uhoa Street, owned by Mark and Nathalie Walker, who I shared a fence with, overheard what I was saying, and 1 week later, while having a party, a guest at his house, Kaholo Faulkner, yelled over the fence, "I'll come show you how big my dick is." My younger dog and older cat were both poisoned within 2 weeks of the initial disturbance that I caused. I moved out within 5 months, fearing for my life. While waiting to sell that home, I got a call from another neighbor late one night saying multiple police cars were at my home and that the officer wanted me to call the Kailua Police Department. I called and they denied being at my home. When I went to the police station after checking on my home and was told that some young boys had taken stolen property and threw it over my fence, I was given no further information. The night I left Kailua, I packed my truck in 1 hour, taking only important belongings. I was followed and obscenities were yelled at me when I pulled over by 2 large locals, men in a black truck. Upon arriving back at 3241 Alani Drive, while walking through the empty home, I noticed a Hawaiian Chinese man standing in my neighbors Brian and Francis Cam's living room, staring at me like he wanted to slit my throat. I had seen this man on Ku'upua Street the day I was to meet a PI by the name of Jeffrey Owens, a corrupt cop, I found out later, fired by the police department. Within 1 year of moving back to Alani Drive, both my dogs were poisoned and killed. After they became sick, I called the police for the first time to report what had happened. My neighbor Jane across the street came over and said not to trust that officer. I saw her the next day and told her I was having problems. At that time, she told me she had seen a black truck parked in my carport for 3 to 4 hours on 3 separate occasions. I made a police report about that as well. There is no record of those police reports or of the internal affairs report I filed years later about the officer who failed to file the initial report. Over the next 6.5 years, I was followed and my home broken into consistently. I had nails and screws in my tires, 10 to 12 at one time in 3 different tires on 2 different occasions. A gunshot through my fence, and I was poisoned with a drug I believe was thallium. On one of those times, ending up in urgent care. Pharmacist Derek Hasigawa of Longs Manoa CVS filled a prescription for gabapentin that resulted in a seizure-like response when taken. The pills stamped were not from a batch distributed to the islands. I kept those pills, and when meeting with a PI named Terry, told him about them and my desire to have them tested. They disappeared shortly after.